Hey, this is Tim Robinson, and this is Taken from the TIM, and that's Tim, that's me. I know today's episode is going to be a little bit controversial, all right? I don't usually talk about political things, but I will be talking about political today because I feel like I would like to address some things, and I'm going to be talking about Donald Trump. Number one, before we get going, I am an independent. I have been an independent for almost 40 years. So I've always been nonpartisan because I have not really been that impressed with neither the Democrats or the Republicans. Neither one of them seemed like a party that I wanted to align with for various reasons that I could make another video regarding. But my video today is about Trump being able to run for president based off of his mode of life and living and all the things that he has done, been accused of, or things that have negative connotations when it comes to Trump. And I don't know the man. I only know as much as you guys know. But I do know what I would consider to be a fact, that if he was a man of color, and that just doesn't mean a African American, it could be any color, any brown, tan, light-skinned man or woman. Once they started finding things about a person that is tan or black, they would, even if it means changing the rules and the laws, they would do whatever is necessary for them to not allow that individual to run for not only president, most political offices. They would not allow a person that has that much scandal in their life run for a political office, not to mention president. And I'm really disappointed, and I've been disappointed with a lot of things with the United States. I'm not going to lie to you. From growing up in North Philadelphia and from living in an impoverished life when I grew up, we weren't nowhere near dirt poor. We had a working father, and I had a two-parent home. So I did have structure. But I just know how we were treated sometimes. And even when we look at things, when they talk about like Black Lives Matter, I wasn't really on the Black Lives Matter thing because I didn't know a lot about it. I don't align myself with things that I don't know a lot about. So I didn't know a lot about the whole basis of the Black Lives Matter, because I heard some things about some of the background of the organization that did not make me want to align with it. But at the same time, every time a person of color tries to do something, it becomes, well, all lives matter. Yeah, all lives have always mattered, but in the grand scheme of things, black lives were not given that opportunity to be systematically a part of like all lives matter. Now, I can say that I have seen a lot of progress over the years. I mean, one of the things, I live in a racially divided neighborhood where we have all ethnicities, and I've been in my home for 14 years. I have family next door to me, wonderful. We get along very well, Caucasian family. So I like people that treat me well, period. It doesn't matter what your nationality is. I went on a cruise earlier this year, I believe in May, and that cruise had a lot of Asians on it that were truly not the most friendly. And I could tell the way that they reacted to myself and my best friend and his wife, that, everyone seems to have something against the person of color. Now, I'm not going to say that we don't have things about us that causes people to have things against us, but that goes for every particular ethnicity. Now, but I was talking about Trump today, and I don't believe that a person like Trump, number one, I guess they would say his bankruptcies were business bankruptcies and not personal bankruptcies. I don't know. I didn't study it. Honestly, outside the fact that he has a bankruptcy, I don't really care. But, right there showed that he really wasn't all that good at managing money. He knew how to use the system for the benefits that the system offer, and when the benefits were not able to provide an out, he would bankrupt, and then he would build again or rebuild or have something waiting somewhere else under another organization or whatever, and then he would rebuild. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've been bankrupt twice. It was consecutively, and I was very young for a little bit of money, around less than $3,000. I didn't have anyone to help me. I started off very young. I bought my first house at 18 years old. So I got hurt on my job. I went on sick benefits, which was a quarter of my pay at that time. And if you're at whatever period, wherever you find yourself with your payroll, if your money is reduced, it will cause you to have a hardship. And when you don't have money in the bank I was out of work for a while, about 8 months, you will find yourself in a bond. And one of the things, finding myself in the bond, I didn't have family or friends to help me, so I ended up going bankrupt for such a little bit of money in order to save my home. And I just know that bankruptcy for that little bit of money stayed on my credit report well over the 10 years. And things that were trailing from that bankruptcy stayed on my credit report up into the last 14 years. And I know that because I was looking to leave the U.S. I started looking to move possibly to Canada. And when I started looking to move, I had started getting things removed from my credit that was old. Some things were like 20 years old, and they were still on my credit. And then I noticed that Equifax and Experian had moved the information, and TransUnion still had it there. And I remember I called and I asked I talked to the lady at TransUnion about this old information. And I was almost in tears. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. All these years I have gone through, even before the bankruptcy, I was never a credit risk. I just, when you didn't have it for the period of time I was out of work, that caused me to have problems. My parents taught us very good and strong money management skills, and they gave us a great money management foundation. But when you are a person that either people don't want to trust you or don't trust you in whatsoever, and you go to a period where you are unable to pay your bills and you don't have family or friends that are willing to trust you or have the means in order to help you, you will find yourself in the position that I found myself in. And the reason it was 2 bankruptcies, I started off as a Chapter 13, which is a reorganization of your debt, and you get a trustee, and the trustee go through reorganizing your debt. I became disheartened, to be quite honest with you. And because I became disheartened, I took and changed the bankruptcy type from a 13 to a 7, which is a liquidation, and that removed the information from, and it was done less than 2-year period. I went from one to the other. And I would advise anyone that can not to go in the pathway that I went into, because it's not a good pathway. But just thinking about how Trump was able to bankrupt multiple times and was able to even run for president. And what also concerns me a little bit, he seems like he has a magnetic personality that borders on the line, in my opinion, of mind control. it seems like those people that are supportive of him, he has such a hold on them that they don't see any wrong with him. No matter what he does, no matter what he says, no matter how he says, no matter what he does, they just continue to support him. You know, all the scandals that he's been through, all of these things, and they still would like for him to be the president. And I think because he tends to rally up a certain type of people, and these people, to me, are radical. These people are people that, in whole, I don't trust them either, because they seem to be so controlled by his manipulation that I don't know what they would or would not do. I just don't know, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned that if he wins the election in the fall, that the United States that we know now will cease to exist. That's my opinion of it, and I know that I am not alone in that opinion. Now, Robert Kennedy is also running for president. You don't hear a lot about him. He's an independent candidate. And then, of course, you know, we have Joe Biden, another Delawarean. And, you know, I don't follow none of them, to be quite honest with you. And I know I should follow them a little bit more carefully, and I do vote. I have rarely ever missed an election. I vote most elections that I'm able to vote, because being nonpartisan or independent, I don't vote in a lot of I don't vote in party elections, and they have some party midterms, and I don't vote in those elections, but I vote in all elections that I'm eligible for. I think that I may have missed voting twice since I've been voting. And if we start off me registering to vote at 18, I've been voting for 42 years, almost 42 years, well over 40 years. My mathematics was a little off. I'm trying to think as I'm driving. But a part of me wants to get a little bit more politically aware. A part of me, at one time I wanted to run in political office, because I felt that I would have been a good candidate, because I'm not a person that is a yes man. I don't go by the majority. I go by what makes sense. I'm not strong on political parties. I believe that we should just vote for who is the best candidate. And I always felt that, but in a democratic society, we have political parties, and because I think that political parties is the mechanism for division. I believe if we were just voting for the best candidate, I believe that we would probably get along more cohesively as individuals. But because we have these political parties, they divide us. And I think that if Trump is able to be elected once more as the president, I believe that he's going to make a lot of changes. And I don't believe, in my opinion, my personal opinion, that some of these changes are going to be positive. I believe that he desires to change the fabric of what we called America. And one of the reasons that I don't believe that he should be able to run right now is also because he's mad. And we could use mad in multiple ways. We could say mad as far as angry, upset, or we could say mad as far as enraged, engulfed, somewhat out of his mind. We can use mad that way too. And when you have a mad individual that is running for a political office, and they're upset about how they feel that society or this world has treated them, they are dangerous. And I believe that he is a dangerous candidate for any political office. But it just still surprises me how we are in a divisive country that I feel certain that would not allow a person of color to run in an election that had that type of background that he has. I believe with all certainty, if he was a man of color, he would not be able to run in this upcoming election. And I feel this is going to be an election to really look at, because I believe that there are a lot of supporters out there that is supporting him for the wrong reasons. They don't even know what he's about. But because some of them, I'm going to say because of hate, some of them would support him because they feel that he would give a certain group of people an advantage over another group, and that's divisive. And like I said, I don't believe that this right here is going to be a very well taken it's not going to be a very well taken I don't know if I'm going to do it as a podcast or even as just being a YouTube video or both. I don't believe that it's going to be well received by some people, because we are somewhat, how can I say it, unspoken, that we're not supposed to say too much. You know, it's like when you have a child, be seen but not heard. And when you start speaking up about things that is your opinion, and your opinion doesn't necessarily line up with someone else's opinion, we find ourselves in a way that people would like to become not only argumentative, but become even violent. You notice that since he has, you know, when he was in office and everything, and even, you know, it just seems like there is a violent, angry group of people that is behind him. I watched something on YouTube about this truck full of Trump supporters walking out with the Confederate flag and with their faces covered. And I think that if you're bold enough to be out there, then you should not even have your face covered. What are you covering your face for? I guess you are afraid of some retaliation or something. So you got your face covered, and you're out there because you wanted to promote division. You want to promote superiority. You want to promote a standard that a lot of people, they even look like you don't even approve or don't even support. But deep down inside of you, you still have that lingering hate. I was looking for a better word, but sometimes you have to call it like what it is, and you have that lingering hate within you, and you have that superiority that's within you that makes you feel that you are better than others, and you feel like this is your America. And most people that we call white, or most people that we call Caucasian, thank you, you know, they're transplants. They were not born here. You know, their families have genealogies from other countries, and now they're finding themselves here, and they feel that it's their right to be an American, but it's no one else's right or privilege but theirs. No. I believe this is a conversation that needs to be spoken by people that are not afraid to stand up for what they feel and what they believe and how they think. We need to have these conversations. If you're angry, I don't want to talk to you. I have argued enough for 100,000 years. But if you have intelligent dialogue, I'll gladly talk with you. We'll gladly sit down at the table and we'll talk, and you give me your perspective. Give me your view. Maybe there is something that I missed. Maybe there is something that I don't quite understand. Maybe there is. I know for certain that I'm not perfect. I know for certain that there are many, many things that I don't truly and fully understand. But I do feel that Donald Trump, should not be allowed to run for president of the United States of America the second go around, based off of his legal issues, based off his desire to separate and divide individuals and communities. I believe, without a doubt, succinctively, that Donald Trump should not be able to run. And I know within my heart that if he was a man of color, he would not be allowed to run for most political offices, but definitely not for president of the United States. This is Tim Robinson. This is Ticket from the TIM. That's Tim, that's me. You see, I don't hide behind things. I'm saying what I want to say regarding this. And as an independent, I'm not taking a Democratic side or view of it. I'm not taking a Republican. I'm not even supporting or saying that I'm supporting my candidate as far as political parties is concerned, Robert Kennedy. But what I am saying is that Donald Trump in particular, should not be able to run for the president of the United States in 2024. This is Tim Robinson, Ticket from the TIM. That's Tim, that's me. And I will talk to you on my next audio or video. Bye-bye for now.